In a few days, Miley will mark her 6th month at Chicago's animal shelter. Of all the dogs there, she has waited the longest for a home. The 6-year-old entered the shelter in July as a stray and has shown caretakers her sweet personality, zooming around the playground and gently taking treats. Yet she remains at the shelter, which is nearing capacity. Now, Chicago's Animal Care and Control is offering rescue groups a financial incentive to take dogs like Miley who have been at the shelter for at least 30 days. The new incentive, funded by a $10,000 donation, provides $100 to the rescue groups for every dog they take that is already spayed or neutered, vaccinated and microchipped, and $200 for dogs that are not. The city is focusing on dogs that have already had a lengthy stay. The longer the stay, the more stressful and difficult the shelter environment can be on an animal. "We hope it'll empty kennels," said Executive Director Susan Russell. The city's open admission shelter relies heavily on rescue groups to take dogs and try to find them homes. More than 3,200 dogs were transferred from the shelter to rescue groups in 2017, nearly 5 times more than the number of direct adoptions from the shelter. For some rescue groups, the incentive can help offset costs not fully covered by adoption fees. "It just eases the burden a little bit on us having to focus on fundraising," said Heather Owen, executive director of One Tail at a Time. "Every group in Chicago that takes an animal is constantly fundraising because we are paying for the medical care of the animals." Chicago's Animal Care and Control is offering rescue groups a financial incentive to take dogs who have been at the shelter for at least 30 days. The new incentive, funded by a $10,000 donation, provides $100 to the rescue groups for every dog they take that is already spayed or neutered, vaccinated and microchipped, and $200 for dogs that are not. One Tail at a Time did an analysis of the 36 dogs it took from the city's shelter between June and August and found its average cost was nearly $600 per dog to provide veterinary care for such ailments as upper respiratory illnesses and surgeries for broken limbs. And the costs incurred by rescue groups can be even higher when training and behavior modification programs are taken into account. "The longer you hold them, the more the dogs deteriorate and the more work that goes into getting them socialized again," said PAWS co-founder Paula Fassis. The city shelter is nearing capacity, fluctuating between 277 and 292 dogs late this week. That's well above its target population of 200 or below, which is what the population was this time last year. "Filling every kennel is not ideal, but the alternative is worse," Owen said. "The idea is, let's keep them here and try as hard as we can to get them adopted or get to the rescue groups because otherwise the alternative is they die in the shelter," she said. If the shelter reaches maximum capacity, as many as 300 dogs stayed at one point in the past. Animal Care and Control looks to euthanize dogs that are sick and suffering or that have behavioral problems that pose a danger to the public. The need to make room for intake is critical because the city's shelter accepts every animal brought through its doors.